Hello. Welcome in to this second test stream. Hello to people live on Twitch. And hopefully to people looking at this from the future, past time travelers on YouTube. One moment while I get some levels right. That's better. Hello, welcome in everyone. This is my previous avatar. For people who don't know me, I'm Adara. I write YA, paranormal romance and sci-fi crossover genre fusions. I have one novel out and I'm currently in the middle of drafting my second. And I like to hop in and out of other people's writing streams. I have hosted some writing streams myself, including Spence, as you saw a glimpse of from this page. I've done some layout changes. It's been a while since I've been writing due to family health issues, and most recently house building works, which have been very noisy and not so conducive for more of a lo-fi environment. But here we are. I've rejigged this layout, which I think is a bit better. It's got more on the screen, but I think it's more informative for people coming in. I intend to restart doing live writing sprints and live writing streams. I can't necessarily give a timetable because the building works are still going on and ongoing health issues and whatnot, but I hope that you will be able to join in when you're available. For now though, I'd like to take you through some of the backgrounds that I have set, and then to show you the new avatar, which I had commissioned, which I am really, really excited about. So let's hop in. You all know this one. This is my staple. This is my office. Some people go for illustrated fantasy backgrounds. I quite like photorealism. This is an actual photograph of my office. I see no reason not to have that here. I think it works well in juxtaposition with some sort of anime cartoon. That's just kind of a style thing I've got going on. Which brings us to the next background that we can choose to work with, which is a library bookshelf. I think the lighting on this is fantastic and it gives a real vibe. Next, we have a book. Now, it doesn't look like much with me literally in the way of it, but when you can see it on this page, it has something about it that just invites you to be warm and cozy. It is quite bright, I will give it that, but I think it has essence of spring in there, especially with all the yellows. It reminds me of Easter, and I think the colours complement each other pretty well. Next up, we have this library. It is a very, very colourful library. Nice, bright, vibrant. You can see that I use Scrivener to write, and I have Scrivener in dark mode. This is so I don't hurt my eyes. But I do appreciate for some people, brightness, a pop of colour will make their day. But for those who don't agree with that, we also have this darker version of a library. I think this one is gorgeous. All of these photos I found on Canva, and I spent a lot of time going through just seeing what I could kind of work with, what would be good looking at for a longer period of time, and trying to get a real range, because when people come into these streams to write, I don't want it to be otherwise glaring or too gloomy, but I want like a range of things that suits the vibe. If you want to read, you read. If you want to do writing, you do writing. And every time someone joins me, it is a bit of a democracy. So you can choose, and we'll have a bit of a vote about where we want, and a discussion in the chat. And last but not least is something I've never done before, which is a video background. I think the rain in this video is absolutely gorgeous on the windows. I think this is kind of a Halloween autumny vibe, but depending on the scene that you're writing, it could really, really fit. Because with writers, you could be writing a Christmas story in summer. Who knows? We can kind of mix things around as we prefer. For now though, I will hop back into my office, and I think it's time to display the new model. Now, I really love this original model. It shows a lot about kind of my style, personality, without exactly reflecting me, but that's what I appreciate about anime and VTubers, PNG tubers in general. But I woke up one morning and I had a lightning bolt of inspiration. I looked in the mirror, looked at myself, I'm just like, I need a particular type of model, especially to go on those screens where I am writing. And when people come in, so they can actively see it instead of just a static character blinking. So without further ado, I present 3, 2, 1, Chibi! Isn't she so cute? She had a little notebook that's just writing away in. It's just so vibrant with her colours, and she's just bobbing up and down and happy to be there. And it's everything and more I could have hoped for. I am moving up in the world. I never thought I would have kind of an animated character. I never thought I would go down a chibi route. But here we are. I love it. And I think it's one of those just strokes of inspiration. It comes out of nowhere. It's like lightning in a bottle. And now this exists. And I couldn't be more happy with it. So let's see how she does on the layout screens of work, which is where she will mainly be. So this is her getting a vibe on when I am typing away. So I'll just be here, typing. And it will be silent. It will be on mute. I will turn the lo-fi up so people can have a bit of a chill out while this is going on. But hopefully the idea is when they come in, they'll see what's happening, they'll see who I am, they'll have something kind of movement on the screen, they'll see the typing, they'll see the timer, they'll see what I'm working on and how far I am in it, because otherwise those questions get quite repetitive in chat, when really people just want to come in, do work, join in, join the flow, and that's cool. And if people want to tell me what they're working on in the chat, that is also fine. So let's see what Chibi Adara looks like in front of the bookshelf. Now this one, I think this adds a really nice pop of colour. You've got, I think it matches the header quite nicely, and it's just a bit of a tone shift from the actual library books. Moving to the next one, this is where you can once again see that book behind Scrivener, which I've made kind of transparent, really come into its own as a background. And once again, I think Chibi Adara just gives it a pop of colour. If I go back to the other model, I still really like this one, but it's a bit serious for this. If that's also a problem, I can be motivational, and I can get very confused. But otherwise, if people are coming in, I think this is just really nice and welcoming, and it sets a vibe. Next up. Now this is where I think she's really at home, is this very colourful library. I don't know how often I'll use this because I know most writers and people who look at screens all day do want a darker room, but for others, they might want that lift. You may have come from a stream where it's dark, cave, dragons, nighttime, and then you just want, okay, here's a bam of a real world on top of just a little bit of funness to take the edge off of that seriousness. And I think she also complements the blues in this darker library very well, if I do say so myself. If you have any comments about this layout, or anything that you particularly like, or any suggestions of things that you might want to improve, especially about sound levels, then let me know. And last but not least, this is what it looks like with the video. Now, one thing I do like about this video is the blue from the outdoors with the rain on the left. And I think it balances out quite nicely with the blue hair of the character in the foreground. This is me getting into some pretty meta design stuff. I have read one too many mangas over a lifetime. Seriously. Without further ado though, I think it's time that we might actually want to run a writing sprint. And the reason I want to do this is so that I can look back at this and I can test the levels. So I am now going to do a 10-minute writing sprint. I will go on mute and I'm going to boost the lo-fi slightly for people to enjoy. And hopefully they can get on with some work themselves. So let's pick a background. I think for the sake of this, for this very first one, let's go back to my office. It feels authentic, and for the sake of testing, it's kind of home territory. It's a bit of a home base. Okay, we have the lo-fi in the background, chibi anime character there, and the timer is ready to go for 10 minutes. I'm going to go on mute now. I will see you on the other side, but before I do, in chat, I'm going to put a few commands for info for people coming in. Let's see. First one is Avatar. And Nightbot is telling people, I'm just describing this for those on YouTube, that the static avatar was created using Pic Crew by Faylines on X. The animated avatar was commissioned and designed by VTuber_graphics on Fiverr. Next, we have the command for music. Nightbot is telling us that the music is provided free from various artists at chillhop.com. And last but not least, and this is the most important, is !mute. During sprints, Adara will be silent, but may communicate in chat. With that being said, I will go on mute, I will turn up the volume, and I will see you on the other side. So let's get this 10-minute timer started. In 3, 2, 1, and sprint. And that's time. How did everybody get on? I'm just pulling up my word count. I managed to finish off a scene in that little 10-minute section. I'm quite proud of that. I only wrote 148 words, but it was enough to do what I needed this scene to do. That's progress. The sprint worked exactly as I needed it to. And I hope that if you guys enjoyed that, then you will be joining me for more, either in real time on Twitch, which is kind of where I prefer to be most of the time, or you can always follow along in your own time if you're a time traveller on YouTube, where most of the VODs go after. How did you find the sound increase of the music? Was it too much? Was it enough? Would you like it to have been more, the lo-fi? Is it okay with the volume that I'm speaking now? Do let me know in the comments. But otherwise, I think this worked pretty well with this format. Hopping back to the regular and changing back to static. I am genuinely pleased with how that went, but we'll see afterwards. The proof is in the pudding, is in the eating of the pudding, I'd say at this point in time. I'm going to have to re-listen to this VOD because this was mainly a sound check, as well as to test out the avatar. I had no clue how the new avatar would perform, and I hope you really, really enjoyed it, like I did. That's all for now. I will see you again. Thank you for coming along on this test stream. Bye.